Okay, America, we have breaking news, and it is huge news for the Kansas City Chiefs. Four-time Pro Bowler Chris Jones, the holdout is officially over. A new one-year deal. It doesn't add more years to his contract, but it has multiple incentives to earn considerably more money this season. For context, Chiefs want to be a repeat Super Bowl champs. Hasn't happened since 2003, 2004. They lost to the Detroit Lions opening week, Thursday, in large part because they didn't have Chris Jones. Travis Kelce also injured. Now, Shady, you won a Super Bowl with Chris Jones. You know Chris Jones. You know Chris Jones' agents. You know the Kansas City Chiefs. How big is the addition of Chris Jones back to the team?
Only if they got this thing done a couple of days ago. They probably win that game against Detroit. But I'm excited for the Chiefs because I told you, they cannot win a championship without Chris Jones.
No.
He's that special spark they get on defense. He's that type of guy where they might need a tackle for loss. Now it's 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 16 now that he got a tackle for loss or a sack. He's that type of guy where he closes the games out when you need it. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is a beast. Yes, Andy Reid's a beast. Travis Kelce, obviously he's a beast. But there's a come a time when the defense got to make plays. And if you notice from the past, the Chiefs' defense wasn't like no shutdown defense.
Never has been.
But sometimes, here and there, they're going to get them big stops. And who's getting the big stops?
Yeah.
Chris Jones. I'm happy that they got this thing together. I just talked to his agent. I guess they're working out, some of the numbers a little bit, but they have come to an agreement in some sense.
Shady, for the sake of the viewer at home, break down how important having a Chris Jones is. So when you were playing running back and you're in your offensive meeting rooms, if a team has a great defensive tackle, schematically, are you talking about, hey, run away from him this way, run away from him that way, run a trap play, leave him unblocked to let him come up the field, run a wham play? Like schematically, just so the viewer can understand how a Chris Jones changes a game plan.
So just to simplify, that Texas brain of his, he's going everywhere with it because he's right. But the game plan, I'll just simplify like that. The game plan is for Chris Jones. Chris Jones, guys like Aaron Donald, wherever they're at, we got to find a way to take them out the game plan, take them out the way. If he's on the left side, we going right. If we double teaming him, whatever you got to do to get him out the way, that's what you got to do. And Chris Jones, he's that good. Where when a team plays the Chiefs, they know, well, where's 95 at? Yeah. He on the left? Okay, we going to the right. Yeah. He's that good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They do not win a championship without Chris Jones. We all know that. So this is huge. They're able to get him back in the building. And we all know when quarterbacks are uncomfortable, no matter who you are, they don't really play really good football, right? You just showed a really good clip of Tua stepping up in the pocket, delivering the pass. If it's pressure coming down the middle instead of outside the edge, then we got action, right? You got your closer back. Chris Jones closes games. It ain't about how many points you give up and all that. Chris Jones closes games. Chris Jones keeps teams behind the sticks with him getting sacks and all that. You need your closer back, right? And you need to make the quarterback uncomfortable. I remember when we played the Broncos with Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware the year they won the championship. We was both 7-0, right? They used Von Miller just kind of like they using Micah Parsons, putting him over the guard and the center and all that. And I remember after one play, Aaron came in the huddle and he said, if your route at 15, run it at 10. If it's at 10, run it at 5. And we're not getting open on Talib and Harris and all that like that. And in my mind at that moment, I said, this game here, over. Because they was already in there and here, the pressure was coming, it's over. And that's what Chris does. He makes these quarterbacks uncomfortable. That's how the picks come, the turnovers come, and he's your closer. This is huge.
Yeah, they weren't getting anywhere without him. They gave up 118 rushing yards last week to Detroit.
Yep.
Detroit looked...
Too much.
Too much?
Yeah.
Too much. And they got no pressure on Jared Goff. Yeah. Look how good Jared Goff looked.
Exactly.
He's fine, Dylan.
Yeah.
What should he say? I can do it. And they gonna go far, but...
Enjoy we trust.
The slot receivers are going to be very busy. Yeah. But the point is, he is the closer, and he is consistency. He is the Mahomes on that side of the ball, so you had to have him in the building. And with the questions that we have about Kelce's health, you can't be without two of your top 3 best players for the season. And Kelce's not out for the season, but it's not a question. They're 4-4 without him. They're 48-11 when he plays.
That's average.
Well, it absolutely is average.
The definition of average.
For context, when Chris Jones has at least half a sack, the Chiefs are 15-2, including the playoffs.
That's just a half a sack.
Just a half. Just a half. Okay, staying in the AFC, one of the most highly anticipated games is the game between the Browns and the Bengals. Like, that was the game. Burrow, Watson, Burrow, Higgins, Myles Garrett. This was supposed to be the game between two of the highest paid players involved. Again, look at these numbers. Astonishing. They have the most guaranteed money in the NFL, these two players. $230 million for Watson, $219 million for Burrow. Let's get it to us. We are in overtime. We got to spend a little bit more time on this one. Shady, are you worried at all about Joe Burrow after how bad he looked last night? For context, he only had 82 passing yards. Last time he had that few passing yards, 2017. At Ohio State, not LSU, before he transferred, at Ohio State when he came in the game in relief of J.T. Barrett. That's just context, America. He was bad yesterday. He just got paid, calf injury coming off of it. You worried at all?
Not even an inch worried about it. What are we talking about? We talking about Joe Burrow? The LSU Joe Burrow?
Yes, sir, that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He changed that whole franchise.
Oh, yeah, that
He's why they gave him $219 million guaranteed because he changed the whole franchise around. I'm not worried about Joe Burrow. I will say this, though. When you don't play in the preseason games at all and you have some injuries in camp, it shows in the game. You know, even myself, and I think very highly of myself, when I would play certain games, after a certain amount of years, they would stop playing me in the preseason games. And when I got to the real game, it would hurt me. I would be rusty. You know, the normal cuts I would make, I'm tripping over my feet. Small things. I start pacing. Even some of the passes I've seen from Joe Burrow, that's not him. Right? The one down to Higgins on the sideline, he burnt the guy, the cornerback, easy touchdown. He threw it out of bounds. That ain't Joe Burrow. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, last year, he started with 4 picks against the Steelers.
2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
I panicked. Yeah, I started panicking. They lost the game after that.
Lost the game to the Cowboys, super rush.
And then Joe Burrow arrived.
Yes, sir.
And there was no more panic. So I'm not worried about that. Yeah. A-Rod said it best, relax. Relax.
I'm with you. I mean, and the reason why we sitting here saying we're not an inch worried is because Joe Burrow has shown us ain't no need to worry, right? We all knew, even with Joe Burrow, the Bengals always start slow since Joe Burrow has been there. And then they come around and they start winning football games and they start looking the way they're supposed to look. Joe Burrow looking like he in MVP form. You know, but one thing that did stood out in this game, and that's the offensive line, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about. Joe Burrow is going to find a way to help his team win games, but they could not block nobody. Myles Garrett had himself a day with pressures, with sacks and all that. They could not block anybody. But as for Joe Burrow, with our own 2 eyes, we have seen him change this organization around. So after one game, I'm not going to say, I'm worried about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow will figure out a way to get his offense back on the right track.
Oh, ye of little faith. Come on. Joe got a little more equity than that, right? You have one bad game, divisional game against a really good Browns team. 0% worried. Shady already mentioned how they started last year. And look, I think we all gave a little pause after the way they started. Like, oh, okay, hold on. This is a Super Bowl hangover. It's going away. Oh. What happened? AFC Championship game.
Yep.
So I have to give Joe a pass on one bad game. Now, the offensive line is concerning. There's things to be concerned about, but Joe Burrow is not the one that worries me. He's not the one that had stuff to prove yesterday either. So he's built up enough equity that we know not only can they start slow, they can recover, although this is not ideal, and it's not ideal to lose a divisional game. They do traditionally start slow, and he has enough equity to know that he's not the one that I'm worried about.
But are we rewarding bad behavior in the sense of if Dak Prescott were to have 82 passing yards, we would lose our mind?
Yes, we would.
If Patrick Mahomes were to have 82 passing yards, we'd be like, whoa. Not disrespecting the equity. You're too good for that to happen. If Aaron Rodgers has 82 passing yards tonight, the
Those
conversation.
Are all really different conversations.
They are. They are. But I'm simply saying no starting quarterback in the National Football League under any circumstance should have 82.
I mean, we watched Justin Fields do it.
And you let us.
No, we watched, and then everybody like it was normal.
But
he ran for 200 yards. So I was like,
but you remind us of that. Like, that's how abnormal it is.
I hear what you're saying, but like we watched the game also. Like it was one of those games. They got beat. Yeah. They got beat. They just got beat yesterday. And no, it wasn't good, but you have to remember the type of player that he is. Like, Dak Prescott does that, we might be like, okay, we should be concerned.
Correct.
Justin Fields does that, we should be concerned. Aaron Rodgers does that after not passing for over 200 yards one time last season, we should be concerned. Joe Burrow was in the AFC Championship game after starting the season off with 4 interceptions in Game 1 last year.
And that line, like, I don't know, they always stink.
Always.
Even like they were doing really good, they was thinking.
But it showed up. It showed up yesterday because it happened early, right? And don't forget, We coming off a calf injury now.
Mm-hmm.
Do we really want to get outside this pocket and escape and run a lot and make plays and all that? No, we want to keep this pocket clean for Joe Burrow so he can step into his throws and deliver. And Myles Garrett saying, Zadarius Smith saying, here we come. We're finna make you uncomfortable all day.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, those quarterbacks you mentioned, they have shown us with our own two eyes that they're capable of bouncing back. Like, if Brock Purdy would have came out, I'm just saying the Aaron Rodgers.
What two you said? You said what two? Deshaun?
No, I'm saying if Aaron Rodgers throws for 82 yards, Mahomes 82, they've showed us with our own two eyes that's not them. They'll bounce back.
Yep.
If Brock Purdy goes out there yesterday and throws for 82 yards off his injury and all that, we might be like, oh shoot, is this Niners offense all right? You know what I'm saying? Tua with his injuries. Maybe if Tua goes out there 80, we like, oh shoot. But with these dudes, they proven, man, with our own two eyes that they able to bounce back.
No Deshaun Watson.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.